Hello and welcome to Pest Perspectives episode 20. Thanks to everyone that watched last week with Mark Porter on. That was quite an insight into business and pest control in general on how to grow your pest control company. All the points are up if you do the British Pest Register on Shaun Mooney's scheme, CPD. It's all up to date. Now you can claim your points. You counted with 1.5 points for last week if you claim it. So that's all up. And the basis codes are in episodes 2 to 11 in the descriptions. You go back and you'll get them, but you can only claim 6. You can out of 10 for them. And this week we have Mark and George Vincent from Pestforce Northampton. How you doing, Mark?
Very well, Shaun. Yourself?
Good to hear. I'm okay. Cheers. And how's the birthday boy doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Another day in paradise. Working like a slut.
I bet your dad got you a big present. I bet there's a big Range Rover sat outside.
Oh, yeah. Next will fly before that happens. Yeah, we're off on holiday at Christmas. First holiday we've had as well, so we're looking forward to that.
That'll be nice. That'll be nice. That will. Now, Mark, George tells me you've got loads of stories when you first started in pest control many, many years ago. It's whether which ones you want to tell.
Well, all depends which one are legal, really.
Well, yeah.
It's just how things have changed, yeah. Especially people's attitudes have changed over the years. I mean, when I grew up, you'd never see anything with a hook or a claw because they were just decimated. I mean, all the keepers were using pole traps, this, that, and everything else.
Yeah.
You never see a bird of prey, ever. And I remember the last otter in the brook my dad caught with the terriers and had it stuffed as well, which was quite different.
Yeah.
But things have just changed vastly, I must admit.
Well,
It's just the attitudes, but from the chemicals people used to use years ago, it's from the days of strychnine and.
Oh, you doing it then?
Pardon?
Were you doing it then in the days of strychnine?
I mean, was, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what this other stuff we used to use.
Sounds frightening, though. I've heard stories where people have breathed it in and the heart stopped and they're dead.
Yeah. The worst one, you can they still use it on raspberries, believe it or not. So obviously, spray it on the raspberry, but it's only got such a short life, say 5-6 hours. But anything touches that, it drops down dead.
Okay.
But keepers, they used to touch it and you literally walk down the road and you're dead. It's no antidote.
They reckon it was like they reckon there was some kind of crystal you could sniff or get into them and it would restart their heart. Was that not true?
They used to use amyl nitrate was the antidote for Cymac.
Oh, okay.
So when you get to the Cymac, there'd be a little tube of that in the bottom, right? If it did rust through, yeah.
Sounds frightening to me, it does. If that was pest control now, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't want to potentially die that quick. I don't.
Yeah, but I can remember one. Whether I should say this or not, I don't know. But anyway, the vicar in the village had a real problem in the rookery with rooks. Anyway, cut a long story short. Got some eggs, put this in them, and anyway, rang me up in the morning. We must have picked up 60 crows off the garden. It wiped the whole rookery out. Just
crazy.
Gone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why there's more legislation nowadays.
Oh, yeah, I know that. But there was no health and safety. There was no warnings on it, I think. I remember my dad used to use nicotine, which is probably one of the most deadliest poisons known to man.
Did you say nicotine or nicotinoids?
Nicotine.
Nicotine? What, they smoke?
Yeah. Pure nicotine, yeah. It's one of the most deadly poisons known to man.
Okay, I didn't know that. I've learned something now.
It's used in horticulture.
Oh, okay.
What it was to kill red mites or whatever. I'm not sure what it killed, but yeah, it did the trick.
Well, it worked. It was all different back then, though, wasn't it? It was like it's changed now. But
Massively.
Someone saying Mike Wallacott on YouTube saying used to have the antidote for Cymag in a necklace that you would crack under your nose.
That's it.
Thanks for watching on YouTube.
It's mind you, all said and done though, I still think Cymag's quite a good product, personally. I mean,
You think you should bring it back?
It's a bit iffy spooning it down the hole, but
Yeah.
But it works well. It does work well. But most people end up gassing the dogs and just a nightmare.
Yeah, it would be. Thanks, Pest Control, for popping in, Jason, and Kurt Graham over on LinkedIn. I appreciate it. Sorry, carry on.
But if you look at the chemicals which are licensed in the UK, and you look at somewhere else like America or France or things like that, you know what we have to do, full PPE and RPE, it's laughable in them countries. It's you can buy in any store, can't you? You turn your nose up at it, say it's horses for courses. There's no, I mean, all chemicals are dangerous to some extent, but it's
America though. America, especially California, is stricter than here. It's just that the public can buy a lot of it because they have to go through licensing. And they can actually lose their jobs and get fines by they actually have inspectors that can go around and inspect all your work. And if you're found to be doing it wrong, you can end up with a fat fine or lose your job. Don't get me wrong, because I obviously speak to a lot of the American podcasters. They said that it don't often happen, but it can. And California is the worst state to be in. It is.
Well, I believe over there you can go into any supermarket and buy chemicals in the supermarket. I mean, no, I paid or something. He said you can just go in and buy what you want.
That's what they say. No, Kurt, I'm actually in my bedroom upstairs. I'm in my bedroom. I've not got a very good background, so this looks a bit better. This does. But yeah, it's all different in different countries, but the UK seems to look at California for what to do a lot of the time. They do. They need to stop looking that way. They do.
Well, I really don't see what a band Vicam. I really don't. Or
I'm actually going to... It's apparently, from what I asked various people, and it's something to do with... Because it's a bendy carb. And it's really bad for the environment. That's basically it. But I agree. Best product in the world. So annoying now it's gone.
But the amount we can use per nest is very minimal, isn't it, really, when you work it out per insect?
It's not like you're spraying it over a field, is it?
That's the whole point.
I see Robert Moon did a thing on it a few years back, because obviously he does it with the paintballs or whatnot. Whether it's another insecticide, but he was saying to work out what's in a cartridge, per nest, per wasp in the watercourse, etc., it is minuscule. But again, it was like Fendona a couple of years back, never come back up on the market. And if I'm not mistaken, it's on the market now and then changed label.
It's back. I haven't tried it yet, but I wasn't in pest control when it was there. I've only been in pest control since 2020. I have, but full time. I used to do wasp nests before that with Dad, but yeah. So I've not been in that long, but so Mark, we know when you got into pest control.
Yeah.
Did you work for anybody, or was it straight into making a Pestforce franchise?
I went for being a gamekeeper.
Gamekeeper, okay.
Yeah, and then George went into it. He liked it, but it wasn't really for him. So that's when we decided to buy this and do that.
Okay, so what made you want to become, like, instead of, say, I don't know, Northampton Pest X or some company like that, what made you go down the wanting to be a Pestforce franchise rather than making your own company or say brand?
In all honesty, I probably didn't know enough about it to do it on my own.
Okay.
So the support we got from them and so forth and guidance, it made all the difference. Obviously, if I was doing the same thing now, then obviously I wouldn't do, because obviously we've got that knowledge now, which you didn't have before.
Yeah. That's true.
It's a long time, so.
Was it something you looked online on how to get a franchise, or did it advert just appear, or how did you know about them?
Just an advert come up.
This is in the Shooters Weekly or something.
Yeah, one of the sporting magazines, shooting magazines.
Okay.
Come up in that, and I thought, well, I'll give them a ring and see what's what.
Okay.
Spoke to girl, got really well with it, and went from there, really.
Was that when Pestforce is under the current ownership, or was that before the current owners?
That was 6 years ago.
Ownership. Okay. Yeah. So that's Shaun Taylor runs. Yeah.
I don't think they've been doing it. It's sort of been doing it that long, had it, before we joined.
I ain't too sure, but
to be quite honest,
you get a lot of help, and I think, especially me being younger, Dad did a business for himself, but never that industry as well. It's just trying to sort of put all the pieces in the puzzle together, and I think doing that you're going to be sort of blindsided if you didn't have the help by joining a franchise or something like that.
Well, yeah, because obviously it's like when my dad set ours up, he did it as a side job because he used to do it at night to build up, and eventually built up to the point where he could do it. So yeah, he didn't. You don't know what you're doing to start with, do you? Really, you wing it to start with. It took him 6 months to get his first job. He wasn't known; no one knew him. But I suppose with your brand, Pestforce are doing. Do they do your website advertising and put you out there? Do they do that as well?
Yeah, they do originally, and then you have to obviously pay for it after that. But I mean, I knew nothing about Google Ads or anything about this. And I'm not computer savvy at all, so I had no idea of that.
Right, set fen trap and do things.
Well, I know how to kill things, but that's about it, really. Not being rude, but.
No, it's this Google advert. It's not easy. None of it is. It's like we have every so often where we've not updated something in the Google profile, so Google guarantee goes down. It's a nightmare. It'd be one thing, but they won't tell you what it is. 2,000 document you've infringed. It'd be something like your insurance. You haven't sent your insurance form through or something. But they love to be awkward because they know they've got the power. They have.
They're taking a lot of people reviews off, weren't they?
I'm working on getting more reviews. I am. I've got a load recently because what's next is the best opportunity to try and build your reviews up. So I got 50 last year, and after that I got disheartened. They were all real, and they took loads of them down off me. And I didn't know what to do to fight it, so I didn't fight it. But I'm trying to get 100 this year, but I noticed you lot have got a lot on Trustpilot.
Yeah.
According to the Pestforce website, the beat on there, but you've got 190. You have. On the page, I think it links Google and Trustpilot into one. It does.
Right.
Do you ask for them reviews? Is that something that when you've done a job, does an automatic text go out, or are these people just randomly doing it?
I mean, we sometimes are, sometimes we don't. It all depends how busy we are.
But no, it normally gets sent out on the op system at last port of call. Happy with service X, Y, and Z. Obviously, we've got a lot of different areas. We've got Northamptonshire, Huntingdonshire, and then other websites within them areas. So I think over all of them we've got over 100, but just not specific ones that only shows certain amounts. But as you say, what's time is the best time for reviews. You're in and out.
It is.
It's simple.
I'm trying to get 100 by the end of the year. That's my goal. 45 now. I'll get to 50. I'll try. The
amount of jobs you said you did earlier, you'd be getting 100 within a week.
Well, that's if they do it. A lot of people can't, even when they can't be bothered, can they?
I think that's what a lot of it is, to be honest.
You've got to sign into a Google account and all this.
Most people are, though. Most people should be. Well, it depends if you've got an iPhone or an Android phone. I usually look at their phone as well, what they've got. I was like, usually, if you've got an Android phone, you've got a Google account. You have, but I'll get there. I will. But I was thinking of setting up a Trustpilot page to try it. I was to try and get reviews on there as well. I
think
I'll try that.
Yeah, it's more independent as well, because a lot of people just get mate boy write them up or messages to write.
Well, you look at the amount of emails you get from people offering to do reviews. Oh God.
Oh right, yeah, my dad replied saying no, thank you. I'd rather get real, genuine reviews. Because Google don't mess about. If you pay someone to do fake reviews and they find out you did it, they can take your whole countdown. They can. It's not worth the risk.
No,
It's very-
But then,
it's just somebody trying to make a quick buck, isn't it?
well, it's deception.
Well, of course it's deception.
Cheers
There
for
we go.
watching, Dad. My dad's watching. He's put his thumbs up on LinkedIn. And also, thanks for coming back, DP New Mexico from last week. But yeah, so when you got into pest control, George, was it something you came out of school wanted to do? Were your dad doing it already?
No, I mean, obviously, my dad grew up on the farm beforehand, so I've always been around that sort of environment. Went to Sparshot College for a bit, went rearing pheasants and partridge, didn't particularly like that, and obviously sort of put Pestforce in the soil and went from there, and didn't really look back.
Put the birds in the blender, you like one of those.
There's lots of, when you're doing sort of 60, 70,000 pheasants, and it's more commercialised, and don't get me wrong, I like shooting, and I'm not sort of woke on that side of things, but when you're doing it for profit and you're not caring about welfare of animals, and I know it's hypocritical given that we kill things for a job, don't get me wrong, but you still got to give things respect where it's given and don't cut corners for profit, and it makes you see a different side, like factory farming, you see a different side to things.
Yeah, you do. It's like when you do your first kill. It's like when I killed my first squirrel. You don't like it, do you, to start with? I was like, you get used to it though, don't you? You do.
Yeah, I mean,
It's desensitised.
not if I grew up with it since I was about 7. I had a gun in my hand, been told to go and shoot things. But I'm finding now, as I get older, I don't want to kill things so much. It's like I used to shoot hundreds of foxes a year.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to do it so much. I just
Do you do fox work then, you two? Or-
yeah. So we had some the other day. Yeah, I had cubs in a bloody cage, which was caught. Oh, I couldn't shoot them. I had to give him the gun, let him do it. I just couldn't do it.
Oh, okay.
Just getting to that age now where I don't, especially if I'm close to them, I don't mind if they're 300 yards away, that's not so bad. But when I'm not actually looking at them, I just feel guilty now.
You have to get a long range sniper then. From around.
But
You
I think you just get conscious of it as you get older.
Oh, that's fair enough. Do you get a lot of calls to do fox control then, do you?
I do a lot for farmers.
Farmers.
So, I mean, one farmer probably shoot over 60 a year on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Can you talk farmer then? Can you talk farmer? Can you talk farmer? They trust you.
He's as tight as one, so I can assure you. It runs in the veins.
Yeah. Nice. So does that just involve trapping them in like a live trap?
Yeah.
And then shooting them? Yeah. Okay. I've never done it. Never done foxes. I haven't. That's why I asked.
I've had it where if it's a reasonable area, we'll shoot when we're at 1-7.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to notify the police, get a job number, notify them how many rounds you've shot, what time, all this sort of stuff, and just to keep it all above board.
Oh,
the blokes are brilliant about it, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's there's a lot more laws. Imagine back in the heyday, you didn't need to do anything like that, did you? Really? No.
No, not at all. Well, I can remember riding down the high street. Yeah, I'll be pushed by with a gun on my shoulder.
Okay, you'll get the firing squad now, wouldn't you? There's a man with a gun in his backpack.
Turning one response out. Do you know what I mean?
I'll tell you one thing. You know, I heard a story once that somebody had someone break into his shed. He rang the police saying, I've locked him in my shed. You're going to come now. What if I say I've got a gun? Have you really got a gun? He says, yeah, I got a gun. 5 minutes later, they were there. Yeah. They actually cautioned him. He says, he didn't have a gun. He was joking.
Yeah.
He cautioned him. They said, you've wasted police time, but you should have come. I had a robber in my shed. But yeah, it's amazing what response you can get. Changes, doesn't it?
Oh boy, shotgun. Yeah.
What, tie him up?
Yeah.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah, the same principle, right?
Well, yeah. He shouldn't. Well, it's an illegal gun. He shot him with one. That's the problem.
But Dad knew that Tony bloke they shot with him years back with Les. And obviously, I don't know if you heard about it, he shot him in the back as he turned away, and it was an illegal firearm. But they were robbing this old boy for months and months out. It's like 80, 90, ill.
Wrong.
But obviously, he got done because he shot him as he turned away, and it was a legal gun. But it's like what you're saying. If matey boy battered him, he'd get in trouble more than the people going in he was out robbing, which is wrong. But,
exactly. The world we live in now, isn't it? It is.
Yeah. It's getting worse, I hate to say. Well, my opinion, I'm getting old, but it's getting a bit too woke for my liking, I'm afraid.
So what's I think I know the answer. What's your favourite work to do?
Who, me personally? I suppose the bees, really.
That's what I thought you were going to say, George. Is that what you're going to say or not?
To be honest, I quite like doing loft clearances.
Do you?
It's hard graft, and you bent up like a pretzel, but it's nice money.
We get a good job satisfaction at the end of it. The before and after, it's nice.
That's it.
But would you want to do it in this heat?
Nah. I stopped a month ago, and I've got a low pick from September, October onwards because it's just too hot. Like when you do wasp in the roof at this time, you've got boiler in the loft. Some of them are reading 35 plus. You've got your bee suit on, mask on, this and that. Ain't good for you.
No, it definitely isn't good for you. It ain't. So then, before I ask you how you do bee removal, I want to ask how you nearly died, George, and what happened.
Yeah, it was
Did you have a bee suit on? Did you have a bee suit on?
Yeah, I had a bee suit. I've been stung in the same spots and the same times weeks before, so it's not like just went up on the scarf, started taking the tiles down, I had my suit up. Now, whether in hindsight there was a snag in my suit or whatnot.
I was speaking to another beekeeper, and what it is, if you wear a veil, obviously you've got the veil at the front, which is quite flimsy, isn't it? You're leaning towards, look inside the soffit or whatever, the veil pushes towards your face.
Oh, and you can poke through slightly.
So what you do is you put a baseball cap underneath the veil, and it keeps the veil always away from your face. So even if you push against something, it doesn't go against your face, and we've not been stung since.
That is an amazing tip for wasp nest too, because that veil annoys me. Keeps moving. Baseball cap. I'll try that.
It is a bit uppity, but just put a baseball cap and it will keep the veil away from your face.
That is an amazing tip, people. Everyone do that because sometimes when you're sweating and you got that, and sometimes you know where the hole is. You're like, because you're pissing with sweat. You're like, it's in front of you. It's quite annoying, but the baseball cap, I'll be trying that. Cheers. Yeah,
it works very well. Especially if I'll wear a wide brim one. I prefer those, but George tends to wear the fencing veils. But you put it underneath, and it makes all the difference. All the difference.
We change the style of suit we use as well. A lot more. I treat every job now like it's me first. Obviously, I'm petrified right up in last time, but
good suits, especially for the money.
It's one of them. Obviously, me and Dad work in pairs, and I think a lot of the people doing line work as well, especially doing bee removals or even wasp nesting in the loft. You cut a corner, you only wear a half suit, and an accident can soon happen. And if you work on your own, who's going to raise the alarm if it does go tits up?
We've often thought people stab like a panic button if they're up in roofs on their own.
You ain't wrong, because I've done this. Obviously, I'm with the MPTA. I did this lone worker course. Well, it wasn't difficult, but it had stuff like that. So, say you got an employee, and then they have to touch base. Like, and you know how big companies, people think, they're micromanaging people by tracking them in their vans. It's technically all to do with lone working, even though they are probably spying on you to make sure you're doing it quick. But it's all to do with lone working, and he does suggest things like that. Like if you've got a client in the house, make sure they get the customer to make sure you're okay every so often. Ask them to shout up to make sure you're okay, and it suggests all kinds of things like that. It does. So that's a good idea. That is.
You don't think of that until it goes tits up. You didn't think of it. You said you just crack on the
day. Shock in what? 4, 5 minutes, if that.
Not even that. It's how many times I've got. I mean, I've got the stung like 20 odd times around the throat. Now I took about 4 or 5 slates off, and I still argue they're Africanised bees. People will argue the toss that they're in the UK, they're not. I know that they're a different type of bee. I did about 14, 15 bee removals that year, and they were aggressive. You know, they were laying brood. There were plenty of other factors which would make them aggressive. I couldn't deem that, but by the time I went from the top of the scaff to the bottom, I was on the floor, rolling around, couldn't breathe. Customers.
Did you blow up? Did your skin blow up? Or your face blow up? Yeah.
It went like a pufferfish.
Oh, no.
Literally.
Because I remember hearing about it when you used to have your TikTok account and you told me you can't get back into that now. That's when I heard about it.
Yeah, I'm annoyed about that still.
Yeah, it's lucky. I must admit, it's close shot.
You're lucky to be here, to be fair.
Yeah,
a lot of people would jack in bee removal, to be fair. They'd be like, fuck that, that's enough. Oh shit, that's what I will. Be on podcast.
I'm just a lot more safe with it, and again, I've been stung twice this year, only on the hand. That's only when I took my glove off to look around the comb and that. So that's my own fault. But changing the suit, checking your suit a lot more often, treating every job like it's your first. And, I mean, I look like a military man now. I've got duct tape everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I know it sounds a bit. We even duct tape the wrists and the ankles, because if they're going to get you, they get up your leg, and it's a real bastard if they're stinging you. So it's just, best way of doing it.
Where you zip up at the front, duct tape that, because that sometimes can split open, do your Velcro again, make sure someone checks it. And we have more than 2 people on job now. So obviously if something does eventful happen, or if someone's not feeling well, we've got spare suits. If one rips, you can try and cover all eventualities that potentially go tits up.
But all said and done, getting back to the bee thing, we had some bees we bought anyway, years and years, and these were the same as those ones which attacked him, and they're a black bee, and they were bastards. I mean, we had a lot of trouble with people walking up the footpath, so we put them near the footpath.
No, they were walking up round the duck pond, off the footpath
then. But anyway, cut a long story short, these bees, if they spotted you, they would chase you hundreds of yards to have you. They were nasty, but good security.
Well, yeah, clearly. Yeah, good security.
Didn't get them poaching after that.
Yeah, I'll say. I have heard of people say about these Africanized bees, and they think they're here, because there are some people think they are here, and some people think the officials say that they're not here, but a lot of people do bee removals think they are.
Yeah, but the thing is, so many people are importing queens now. So they're importing queens from all over the world.
It might not be specifically 100% Africanised,
but they got that trait.
They'll have trait. And if that breeds and swarms elsewhere, and that breeds with this and that, it might be more than 20-30%. But ironically, they're the most aggressive, yet they yield the most.
Yeah, they do produce.
So,
is this? I got told that these Africanized bees were just normal bees until, I don't know if this is true. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody took this bee into a laboratory to try and alter them to make them produce more honey, be more productive, and they escape from the lab, and they're more aggressive, but they produce more. Is that a load of rubbish? Someone said they were put into a lab.
I haven't heard that per se, but I know that they're extremely productive. Obviously, they're aggressive, but
probably not true then.
Compared to a buckfast is like significantly different. But I've suggested getting into bees, you can queen and all this stuff. If you did have 100% Africanized, 100% buckfast, if you could put the productive traits into buckfast and then take the lesser aggressive tendencies, you could genetically modify the most productive bee as such. Which you're messing with nature, so whether you do that or not, but
you're messing with nature keeping bees anyway.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. You're manipulating nature at the end of the day.
But, so it's probably not true then, what I heard. Obviously, it's not. So, it did sound a bit like a...
Second?
it did sound a bit like a thingy conspiracy. So I wasn't sure if it was right. It probably
There's
is.
always some conspiracy in somewhere, though.
There is. I believe that's your mum in the chat, George, saying the most scariest phone call a mum ever received. She's in the Facebook chat. I can imagine. Yeah. I can imagine.
Weren't particularly sad like today. Do again. Try not to do that.
Yeah.
But but again, like, you know, commercially, when you keep honeybees, obviously, yeah, you can requeen them if they're aggressive or whatnot. You know the tendencies when you're cracking into them up in the country. You don't. You know they're bees. You know whereabouts they are. You might know how long they are if the customer's sincere and tells you the truth. Apart from that, you don't know anything else. It's one of them until you start cracking into it.
It is.
The bees up as well. So it's ones we did within the M25.
Yeah, they say that M25 bees are angry and all this.
They were. But is that the pollutants in the air making them like that? I thought it was like telecom towers or something like that. I don't know. But they were narky.
Okay. Someone in chat on Facebook said Africanized bees are hybrids between African honeybees and European bees. I don't know if that's.
Sounds about right.
It might be, yes.
They had a major problem, didn't they?
Yeah, but like I watched a documentary on bees about America, and they're saying about all the near nicks and that. Like America's almond or avocado, either has to flower, so they import like 1.5 million fucking beehives just to pollinate this one crop. It's such a small time frame. And they literally got Arctic lorries up and down. They put like 400 hives on the lorry, up and down the country, up and down America, from one place to another to flower this, to pollinate that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely mad.
But I believe I heard that fruit farms, etc., do that here. Yeah. They import them, and apparently they buy them. They put them out, and what they're supposed to do after they've done what they've done pollinating, they're all supposed to go in the box. You pop the box shut, and you're meant to put it in the freezer, and it kills them.
Oh,
that's what they say. They do. You put them in the freezer because they've just been made just for that certain area. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've been told. A lot of them do. They get bees on the farm, and they're in like a little box. You let them out to pollinate, etc. Live there, and then once they've done their job, they put a pop in it, shut it, and put it in the freezer. They're supposed to anyway.
Never heard that.
It's just a waste of fucking money.
I mean, most people orchards and that, they just have local beekeepers go and stick 8 or 10 hives.
Maybe that's not true. Or maybe I heard it wrong. Or it was a different country.
We used to use nematodes and things like that. We used to get like in the greenhouses. My dad would get like 50 or 60 boxes sent through with like ladybirds and sort of spider and this, that, and everything else. To naturally kill all the other pests.
Oh, yeah.
That's still done in horticulture quite a bit, I think, to be honest.
I've heard of the if you get parasitic wasps, they can kill the moths in houses where they just lay all their eggs inside, and then you can parasitic wasps, you can't even see them. It's natural to kill moths.
I've never
and
heard
they do because that's what's it called. Mark Mosley, I had on this podcast. He's done it in London. I think it's carpet moth, something moth, and they lay the egg, and it kills. It naturally will kill the moths off, but you can't see these moths. Let them off in the house. You're that tiny, you can't see them.
That makes sense.
Again, natural pest control. Using this, using that, using a natural predator for a natural prey.
But when you look at it, the chemicals we use and the amount we use is nothing. Not compared to what they're bunging on fields, put it this way.
No. We use a little bit, and they use like over the fields. They reckon that when that neonicotinoids were used on a field, they reckon that. Yeah.
I don't think neonics are bad.
It's on a seed.
Because it's on a seed dressing. It's not a spray, so it's on a seed dressing. It gets in the stem of the plant
Yeah.
to stop the flea beetle. So how's that going to damage a bee? Because it's not even flowering. They're not going to touch it. Not only that, the stuff you put in your beehive to treat it, it's got neonicotinoid in it. So I think that's a load of bollocks, basically. But now the only thing they can do is blanket spray it with pyrethroids. So it kills everything. You won't see a boil, you won't see a worm, you won't see nothing.
See, I thought it was a spray over the field. No, it's not.
It's a seed dressing. So it's systemic in the plant because the flea beetle gets into the plant, the rate looks great, and all of a sudden it goes hollow and it's fucked. So the flea beetle's killed it. But it's not actually in the plant when it's flowering. So
but all said and done, like that documentary I was watching about bees in America, obviously in the comb of honeybee colonies, you can tell everything because that's where they pay everything in, they store everything, and it had you could trace so much like insecticide, pesticide, any chemical which is dangerous to be. This is where you could test it, and you could test it for years and years, like DNA with humans with hair as such. And it was so much more of neonics within that. So it's to and fro. But I mean, neonicotinoids are bad. Yeah, they're probably not the greatest thing. But do you think it's equally good blanket spraying with pyrethroids, pyrethrin? It's
good though, isn't it?
I mean, glyphosate, they say it's not harmful for you, but now things coming out saying it's carcinogenic. So we've used glyphosate for the last 40 years. But you spray that, and that kills anything. And how many people are spraying that in the gardens every weekend? Yeah, weed killer, basically.
Oh, weed killer, yes. Right,
Roundup's glyphosate. So they're sprayed everywhere in the gardens.
Oh, it's not a Roundup is? Oh, I see, yeah.
So why is that legal?
I can see your point, yeah. Yeah. You're right.
I just don't know.
Slug pellets, hedgehogs.
Slug pellets are legal.
It's ant powder, cats. I mean, nothing. If something kills something, it's not going to be good for something else. But again, it's control. It's how it's used. It's reading the label. It's all these things. But it's so good and bad.
No,
don't read ant powder. Because I tell people, you know that can kill cats and dogs, don't you? No, it can't. Like, read that label. It can. Suddenly they're cleaning it up. I was like.
Yeah, but no, it's not just a little bit of ant powder. It's like somebody's gone there around with, I mean, it's
like it looks like someone's gone there with like Vicam and just sprayed the outside of an house, all around the edges. That's what it looks like sometimes.
But why?
But like ant powder, obviously. But
people could just buy it and just use it without any care in the world. That's what I don't get.
But again, it should be regulated more. And that's why I think pest control is such an undervalued service, because you go to your customers' house, you're trying to charge X, Y, Z for rats, and they say, well, mate, you could buy a bit from Screwfix, and they think that's exactly the same. And that's
Yeah, but we had it with a solicitor. Believe it or not, he bought a load of stuff from Screwfix. It was the grain bait, throwing it all over the garden, wondered why there's loads of dead birds. I said, did you read the label? What? I realised I had to. And he was right nonchalant.
He was a solicitor. Wow.
Because when we gave him our treatment, we said, can you make sure you read that? And he got right snotty with us. Why do I need to read that? And then, of course, we said, but just unbelievable.
But how many times do they go to people's house and they misuse rodenticide, or they've got a rat trap out in the middle of
the worst thing I find, and it upsets me every time, when I have fucking fly strips up and his bat stuck to them.
Oh, really? I've never seen that before.
4 or 5 times, and I'll fucking, excuse my French,
you're all right.
But I've really ripped in at the customer. Really.
If that was us, though, it's a £5 fine or more. It's serious.
Yeah, but you tell me, no, I didn't know I had bats. Well, they're stuck to the fly papers. Of course you do.
It's a fresh one as well.
You know what I mean? And you hang other ones up next to it.
But like that with glue boards, if me and you are qualified and competent now to use glue boards, like you weren't a year ago anyway, if we see a matey boy in the corner shop using them illegally, even though it's an insect board, not glue board now, and for rodents, we're liable. We're liable for prosecution because we're trained and competent. But that opens you up to such an awkward conversation with your client, and are they going to listen? Because as soon as you go out the door and tell them they shouldn't have done that, they're going to go like that, and they're going to do it again.
Yeah.
So nothing changes.
Pick them up and chuck them in the bin and chuck them in the bin.
I mean, I find glue balls quite useful. They're a useful tool, especially in grain stores and things like that. They are a brilliant tool. But
I don't think we should have lost them, but I've never really used them. But I don't like to lose a tool that I could use one day. I mean, I would basically, it's an effective, even though they've licensed it, it's effective, in my opinion, it's effectively a ban, basically. They've done it so it's that difficult. So
it's a ban until you pay, which I think is a monopoly, because again, it's take a few more quid out of you.
I mean, I used to use them.
From what I understand, not many people are using them at all. Even a lot of the big companies ain't bothering. That's what I hear. It's just too much hassle.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It's not. That's what I hear.
We used to find the tunnels on the grain stores. They're brilliant because obviously you can't use a rodenticide in there, and traps aren't that effective. And you've got a lot of mice in there, and it's the quickest and easiest way to get rid of them. But we won't even do that now. It's just not worth the risk.
No, it's not worth risking your job and whatever. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. But hopefully they... I don't know really what to say, to be honest. I don't. But the MPTA's written to the government and so to the BPCA with all loads of concerns. So we'll see if anything happens. Hopefully something does. But yeah. So what I wanted to ask you was, me not doing bee removal, how do you actually do bee removals? How do you actually do them?
It's like we've got one this Friday, internal cutout on a grade one listed in Buckingham, and then Saturday I've got one in the chimney just on a normal house.
Much more.
So obviously, surveying it thermal. I think even if you don't do bees having a thermal in your van, it is priceless for other things anyway.
Even for doing wasp nests, like I said,
we have got a thermal now. It's probably not on your level of thermal, but it's £100 or so. We've got a thermal. You've probably got a real amazing one. You have.
Just get the ones in your phone now. They're going to be quite good.
In your phone? Wait, you get an app?
Yeah.
You plug it into your phone?
Yeah, it's like £200-300 flower, I think they are.
Oh. I think that's the mate we've got.
Yeah, no, flower.
Quite good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It was quite cheap. I didn't think it was that good, but obviously
fits in your hand. So you've got quite a big screen on it, but wherever you point it, it shows up your heat temperatures. But like the wasp nest on the roof, obviously now with the bands and the wire cam, it's easier to go up in the roof, just scan around the outside if you know it's in the soffit, and you can soon pick the wasp nest up. It's quite easy to deal with then.
Yeah, good point. I never thought of that angle. You're right, you can actually pinpoint it. You can.
We've had squirrel nests.
Yeah, anything with heat, but obviously with honeybees, like if they say they've been there a couple of years and the bees are producing this bit, the reality you've got to take that bit out, all the old comb and whatnot. So you're always just trying to get the most information off the client as possible. But surveying it, and obviously your method of access equipment, whether that be a cherry picker, scaffolding, fast, whatever, and obviously cracking it. We tend to do hoover them out. We'll just get the queen out like that, cage her up, put her into the net, cut the comb out and do it that way. But 9 times
I watched some videos before. Do you use this thing that makes them calm? It's like a load of steam. Does that make them calm?
Smoke.
Does it make them?
Yeah, it tells them it's a forest fire. So basically, they gorge on honey.
Okay.
So they become really docile, like very docile.
Okay. Do you use that then? Do you use that?
Sometimes you don't need to.
Okay.
Some bees will check out and they're as calm as anything. Others, we do use it. But it all depends what they're like, how they react.
Okay.
You normally know straight away because the guys, if they're going to be nasty, they'll be nasty. They're the ones sitting on the guard in the hive.
As soon as you hit twice with a bow string and picking out, like I say, you know it's going to be alive with removal. If they're just tripping in and out there, then it's nice to do.
Because we're a bit particular when we take out the brickwork, we only use hand tools, don't use power tools.
Okay. That is just, Does that take longer? Or
Takes longer, but it's less vibration, less dust, less
oh,
noise.
I see what you mean.
Buildings, obviously, some of the stone can be a bit blown, all sort, and obviously, our mason don't want to be refacing a lot of the stuff we're making from new. So obviously, you can just be a lot more methodical and a lot. Yeah, it is a little bit more time consuming, but you can be a lot more precise. And ultimately, when you're putting it all back as well, it's less time in the end game.
Oh, that's fair enough. That is, because obviously, regardless if it takes longer, you can still charge accordingly, can't you? You can.
But it's normally 3 of us, sometimes 4, but
Is
it's
it?
normally
Okay.
the stonemason sort of difference. It took us a long while to find one as good as that, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's good then.
It's great if you're working on those sort of buildings because it'll match all the rendering in and everything, so it just looks like it's just been, that's how it was before. It's great.
That's really good. That is really good that you've got like a little team put together when you
Break a stone, he's got the capability of making a new one exactly the same, so it's
nice. That is,
so grief.
that's really nice. That is. Do you ever? What do you do with when you take the bees away? What do you do? Do you go and put them in a field or something?
We've got we've got access to quite a few farms, so we keep most of ours at a little village in Bedfordshire.
Okay.
But it's a bit more than that. I mean, there's a 3-acre lake next to it. Guys planted loads of flowers around it, even to the point where he's built a stone, like plinth, basically all the way around the end for us to store our hives on, so the bees are out the wind, out the rain. It's just perfect for them. So we keep most of our hives there, and the other ones have gone up the woods at another farm. And probably next year, so we'll go to somewhere else as well.
That's the quarantine one. So obviously, when you're doing removals, obviously you've got to be checking for disease, things like that.
So what? How does that work then with bees? Do they have to? I think you can tell I don't know a lot. Like you have to look for. So say you find disease, what do you have to? Dare I say it? What do you do with diseased bees?
It depends what it is.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got AFB, EFB, American Foul Brood, EFB. Obviously, being registered with Bee Base. So where we are, Northamptonshire, sitting near Cambridgeshire, a lot of the hives got certain diseases that are actually getting put down. Beekeepers are being took off them. And again, obviously, when you're doing them, you've got to be careful. So the most common thing is varroa mite. Which every beekeeper would have experienced. It's like red mite in poultry. It don't matter what you do, you're always going to come across it. You'd normally do it with a folic acid. You get like the smoker guns now with the folic acid, or you can use strips. But it's we could learn so much about bees. They're pretty much disease free. If the queen's not healthy, they'll requeen. They're fascinating creatures. They're absolutely very, very interesting, and that's why I like them.
And I was just sitting there watching them.
Yeah, and what you think you know a lot about bees, and you delve deeper into the rabbit warren, and then deeper and deeper and deeper. It's never ending. A bit like Alice in Wonderland. You think you know a little bit, and then you get humbled quite quickly.
It is quite fascinating what bees do. It's like wasps. Like wasps are underrated. There's more wasp species than there is bees.
I mean, wasps are still good pollinators.
It's just they will pollinate. They will pollinate. I didn't read a book. I listened to a book. The lady that went on Beauties and Beasties podcast, she's like a wasp expert, and she doesn't do pest control, but she said that when bees aren't about, wasps will pollinate.
Yeah.
They will.
To another one.
Yeah. Right. They're just more vindictive and more aggressive. Obviously, back end of the summer, acid fermenting, etc., etc. That's why they got bad publicity. But I mean, like with us in particular, I've only really treated probably 12 wasp nests with insecticides at the moment. All the others I've whacked in a bin bag and relocated. I've got God knows how many at the bottom of my garden. The same with bumblebees. Yeah, I'm not.
You relocated wasp nests?
Yeah, I can show you if you like.
Yeah, stick them up in the woods. They're quite happy up there. So is the bumblebees. They're quite happy as well. Don't see the point.
if it's in a shed, it's a bubble. Yeah, get back round, try and keep it intact, put them under a pallet, keep them in the bag still, and they go like that. But again, you're not using your chemical cost. Once it gets a bit bigger, rugby ball size, and it's a bit sketchy to do, then spray it with a bit of digi. But apart from that, you reduce your chemical costs. All you've got is your time there in a bin bag.
That's true. I'll tell you who does that. Jason McPhee from Mass Pest Control. He also removes them completely as well. But going back to earlier where you said you tape everything up around your bee suit, he does that taping business too. He tapes his trousers to his boots and everything round just to make sure he does. He does that.
How many times you've been done by ground wash up the legs? Oh.
Yeah, well, I've learned that one as well, what to do with that. Make sure you do your shoelaces as well.
Get your wellies on.
But the spookiest thing is when you're driving in your van and you've got 50,000 bees in the back. Yeah, that's quite an experience.
Yeah.
I imagine that you can hear it. Humming.
Normally they're quite calm, but we've got a proper headboard now.
Well, it'd be funny. You get pulled over by the police. I wouldn't check in the back if I were you. Were you hiding? I wouldn't check in there.
Give it a shake before
Are you sure? I want to look in there now. There's bees.
Looks when you're driving past both of you and sitting in a van with a bee suit on. They do look a bit strangely out there.
Yeah, they will. They will.
Well, we've driven with them in the car and there's been a few flying around. We've never been stung by them, to be honest. They're not that bothered. That's
fair enough. Do you do mole control? See it on your site. Do you actually do moles?
Yeah.
Do you like mole control?
It's nice because you're out in the countryside, I must admit. And we normally do it early mornings as well, when there's nobody else about. Because we do it from a certain agency where we do down the rivers. And that's lovely. Yeah. Just walking down the river in the morning, checking your traps, and that is a real pleasure to do. Last time was out for 2 otters as well, which was lovely to see.
What did you say, sorry?
Last time we was out checking the traps down by the river, we see 2 otters playing in the river.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's rare. That is.
Really nice thing to see. I don't know, we've got beavers now.
Yeah. Bloody thing.
Yeah. I reckon that like Rutland Water or some part of it's got beavers or getting them or something.
Yeah,
apparently, is it beavers or otters that eat all the fish? It's one of them.
Yeah.
People were complaining about them. Yeah, the people are obviously complaining because they wipe all the fish out.
Oh, they will. They'll totally do that. They're worse than mink, put it that way.
The mink. Do you do mink?
No, I haven't done for a few years. They let animal rights break into a place near us, Unilever, and they let out, I don't know how many hundreds of mink. So we were catching 60 plus a year at Felmisham.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we've got rid of them, so we're not.
Some people have got them trained to go after rats. Have you seen that?
That's one thing I'd like to do.
Yeah, our boy in America.
Yes.
I watched him since a kid because I had ferrets since I was about 13.
Have you not seen the Beauties and Beasties one then? The Mink Man's been on Beauties and Beasties. Look it up. He's been on. He has. That was a fun one. You need to watch it because I'd never heard of him before that. I hadn't. The Mink Man.
Yeah, I forgot his bloody name now.
I don't know his name. They just call him the Mink Man.
But no, he's but again, he's using a natural predator. But you watch some of his videos on YouTube, he's had some serious, like Keir and Casper, like some serious big numbers. And again, he's not using chemical, it's natural pest control, eco-friendly. And it's,
well, look at the terriers, how many they kill when they get going? Jeez.
Yeah.
But that's far more of a, I mean, I'd rather have a mink and a terrier in the arsenal.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, both. And again, he works his dogs with them as well.
Well, how did you say to kill when she was 8, 9 months old? She was unbelievable. Yeah, well, it's instant as well. That's what gets me.
It is an instant.
But then again, you're not meant to use your terriers for that now, are you?
You're in a byproduct.
Let's be honest.
Well,
The thing is, what gets me as well, if your terrier kills a mouse, you can be done for it. But if it kills a rat, you can't. Which I can't quite work out. How does the terrier know the difference?
Oh, if you ask Kieran, like, if you were to ask him, he'd say that they know and they're trained. You train them so they know to go for rats only. Yeah. So, if you were to listen to him, he would definitely know the ins and outs. But they can make mistakes, I'm sure. But they wouldn't film that part, would they?
No.
If it happened.
Don't get edited out.
No.
But no.
Kills when it comes across, that's it. And
So do you guys do monthly contracts at servicing places as well?
Yeah. We've got quite a lot of bump. Obviously, with Pestforce again, quite a lot of national account work, some big companies, and obviously over the years we've picked up like contracts for ourselves. So yeah, we're like first week of the month we're busy 3, 4, 5 days. Obviously, any other work that comes in. So yeah, we've got lots of contracts, which is nice. Just try and build it up.
How many you got?
I've got roughly about 44 grams worth of contracts.
Nice.
So obviously to try and build it up over time. But we've got our biggest contract. I think we've got BRC side.
Oh, you got a BRC, have you? Well done on getting that. Yeah, that's cool. Do you enjoy doing that site?
Yeah, it's nice. Obviously,
well kept.
Pesty had it before. Didn't know what field biologist visit was. But no, it's right. They're
there to help you, aren't they? When they're field biologists, they're there to help you before. Because I've had a few field biologists on this podcast. They said that we go there to do pre-audits to make sure the pest controller is doing their job, and it's that the information's there to use to help them if they're not doing or suggesting different methods. So when the audit actually happens, it should go smoothly. It should. I'm only going off what I've been told by field biologists.
I think BRC or just a little corner shop. You know, if neither of them listen to you, what's the point of the contract? And I'm thankful that we've lost some contracts over the years because they've been happy with us and we haven't been happy with them. But 9 times out of 10, it's because they didn't listen. And obviously they say you ain't done a good enough job or whatnot, and you can't work like that. So you just draw a line in the sand.
Normally restaurants, which I tend to steer clear from as much as I can.
Fast food and things like that, and
I'm not interested.
And worth it. But you learn that through the years.
You do, because obviously, like sometimes it's like something needs proofing, and in the end, you end up doing it and not charging it. I'll just fill the hole myself then. Sometimes I'm like that, but don't realise the impact of a little hole can cause bigger problems. They can. It's like when you have a customer that's not interested in a fly machine, because technically a kitchen doesn't have to have a fly machine. I know it's mental, but they don't, right? But until they've got flies, then they each goes, where's your fly machine? I haven't got one. Then there's a problem, isn't there? That's what I tell them. I said, there's not a problem until there's a problem with the fly machines. It doesn't work, but you can try, can't you? I'm not the best salesman at selling fly machines. I'm not.
Prevention's better than cure. I think more so in our industry. Like again, bees and rodents. How many jobs could be prevented if you sorted out that air vent which is chewed through, or the bees wouldn't get through the chimney if it was repointed, or this or that? Yeah, a lot of the work within our industry could be prevented. Thankfully, it's not, because otherwise a lot of us would be out of work. But to some extent, a lot of it is little snags on houses which cause.
Yeah, but even new houses have still got the same amount of problems with them. Buildings not changed. More so. You're right. Buildings got worse, not better.
Right, especially for bees. I know you think it's mad, but a lot of the chimneys on houses are false. These modern houses.
Yeah, I found this out recently. I thought that was.
Prefab.
It's all sealed at the top, so it's basically a lovely little cube which nothing should theoretically get into. But unfortunately, when they lift them up by 4 coach bolts through the side on a crane.
Okay.
So they lift it up the roof, fix it onto the roof, take the coach box out, and then of course you've got 4 little 6mm holes through the side of the chimney. Perfect for a bee.
They're making bee homes.
Yeah, basically.
They're making work for you. They are.
Yeah.
They do that in Bristol, though, didn't they? They got to do so many air vents now with bee vents and
Oh, okay.
roof tiles for birds, nests,
No, I
and all
think
that stuff. It's not being funny when you're building on greenbelt land and that. You got to give something back, haven't you?
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
love petting the squirrels because you're encroaching on their ground, aren't you, really?
But again, solars, when they're doing the panels, if they've done the proofing, there's so many things like that.
That's one thing I hate doing. That's what
Proofing.
Yeah.
I don't like heights so much.
I don't like heights.
I don't like heights, actually.
I'm all right once I've been out there for a little while. I'll get used to it. I'm okay scaffolding, but it's cherry pickers. When you're up from high and they start swaying about now, I get a bit nervy.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Hanging on to the edge with white knuckles.
Yeah.
But, nah, I'm not mad for heights. Nah, not good.
No.
But
Well,
training down doing jobs. So, fair enough to them.
yeah. But no, it's here's a question. Do you two get on working together? Do you have arguments every now and then?
Every day.
No. just like me and my dad then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just natural, isn't it, really?
At least you can say it as it is. If you think someone's twat, vice versa, you just say it as it is. Ain't no hard shit.
No, it's what it is. But we bounce ideas off each other and that works quite well. George is main driving force between it.
Yeah.
He comes up with all the ideas, he's nice and keen, which is good. You could wish for more, really, to be honest.
That's fair enough. It's you've got a young person in pest control, which we like to see.
Yeah.
We do.
Well, long career ahead of him. You know, that's what it's all about. I mean, I'll retire in a few years, so it's, I'd like to retire in a few years.
Well, whatever you do, you'll probably still you'll get bored. That's the problem.
I think I would. Very much so.
I'd still find things with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely. But that's the idea with the bees. Build the bees up. I want to get enough hives so that can be a nice little productive sideline, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it would be, because you can sell honey, you can sell beeswax candles, all that for the people that want to make it.
Over winter colonies you can sell.
So
if you can you split your hives, obviously split the queens. You get a 6-frame colony. What's a 6-frame colony?
Reason why
£200?
Yeah, £250 with a box. That's why everyone's running around collecting swarms. Because if they save that swarm, so if they get a swarm now, they feed that now. They'll build that up till April, May time. They'll sell that for £250, 6-framer within a minute.
I didn't know you could sell them for money anymore.
Yeah. But I'm more interested in like making your own queen, and that I find really interesting and really, really technical. But again, it's, as I said earlier, it's you think the understanding of bees, and then you delve deeper and deeper and deeper. But it's like anything, you can always find more to know.
There's even down at bumblebees and things like that. They're lovely little creatures. Just lovely little things.
And it's nice in the industry as well. People are starting a lot more companies are doing bee removals. A lot more people are saying, I'm not treating them for whatever. Then I've had 2 inquiries this week where other companies, aren't going to name who, have treated them.
Yeah.
They've tried to block it up, and blocking it up like Stevie Wonder trying to paint. It's just ain't even worth thinking about. And they're meant to be a part of BPCA or this or that. They're not. They're not doing what they should do. So it's one of them. But I think it needs to be regulated a hell of a lot more. I mean, like me and you were talking about it a few weeks ago. And what I told you, coincidentally, they put an article out literally 2-3 days after. So,
was it the BPCA or was it MPTA? I think it was MPTA.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
But what annoys me is where they're killing the bees, they're using powders to euthanize them, which is the most stupidest thing because one, it doesn't really work, and two, they'll transmit it to other hives. So if we do have to ever euthanize them, we should always use a spray because it can't be transmitted to another hive.
Okay.
The way they do it is just that's my head.
The other day I went to a lady. I didn't charge her, but I just said to her that I've got wasps. So, I went, "No, you got any bees? Can you help me?" I said, "No, I can't help you." I said, "How long have they been there?" About 2 days. I said, "Well, you have to see if they move on. If not, you have to get someone to remove them."
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't. The problem is, a lot of people think. I mean, I blame Disney. I do. Winnie the Pooh. Because everyone thinks that the bees are bright yellow, and that's what they think. So they look at a wasp or a bee, and they get confused, don't they?
Yeah.
I've got wasps, but actually I've got bees. That's what they've got.
But yeah, the main telltale sign is the little legs hanging down.
Yeah.
The little back legs always hang down, whereas a wasp doesn't.
But I think most of the time people, they just see it flying issue. They don't really see it as a whatever insect. They just see all flying issue, pest control. They don't care what it is. Out there, they know help me get rid of it. But again, I think there's so many of the window cleaner / pest controllers and cash job tracksuit boys obviously doing the bad, and that reflects more on everyone else.
Well, everyone else should try to do with a pressure washer, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's fun.
Why the bees had come back?
Yeah. He done all sort of ant powder, all 9 yards, pressure washer, this, that. It's obviously didn't move the comb and
They were back.
they come back, but it's again,
Pressure washer. I've not heard of that before.
Yeah,
It was natural. It was just water. They love water.
I just can't get over people what they do. Oh, they really come.
Yeah, it's a chimney sweep.
I mean, fair enough. If they've just arrived, if you light a fire and it smokes, they generally will go.
All come in your house.
Yeah, I was told that by because obviously I went to I went to a meeting up at where Pest Tech's going to be, and I had Martin. I was driving. I had Martin next to me, and he was giving me a masterclass without realising. The way he was speaking to customers on the phone was amazing, and most of them were beagles. And he said, "How long's it been there?" And he mentioned the thing about you can have a bin and the smoke, and they might go. He mentioned that. He did. He said, if they don't go in a certain period, they'll just stay.
Yeah, once she's built home and late, they ain't going nowhere.
They got an invested interest.
Yeah, they will not go anywhere.
But he was honestly, the knowledge he had was amazing. Like you two have. You have great knowledge on bees. You have.
I mean, you can also use nooks as well. You can put a pheromone in the back if they're just.
They try to trap them out.
You can trap them out. There's loads of different ways of doing it.
But if they've been there any more than 3, 4, 5 days, of that stay is what I normally say. And a lot of people will trap them out. So in my eyes, you're removing the bee numbers, and you've still got whatever comb is there, and you block that hole up, and you're hopeful they don't come back. But the reality is the attractant is still there. So in my eyes, you rather might do the whole hog and just remove however much comb's there.
Yeah.
But again, misinformation. How many beekeepers, in particular, my job on Saturday, my client got advised last year, "Oh yeah, they'll just go. Obviously, unbeknownst to them, they don't. So
I think what it is beekeepers generally only want a swarm that's sitting on your hedge, and then they can't be asked, and they just say, "Yeah, we'll go." So.
Yeah, well, not funny. Half of them are 60, got hip replacement, can't really be bothered. I don't blame them.
They can be the most awkward, unhelpful people.
But when we started, we had a boy local to us. We'd ring him up and say, "Yeah, we got a job here. Do you want it?" And he said, "Oh no, if it's in the chimney, I'll just kill him. And I'm thinking to myself, "Hang on, mate, you're a beekeeper."
Actually, I've heard people say that recently. Beekeepers just advised to kill them.
Yeah. How hypocritical.
Yes. Yeah.
It is wrong. But I don't see why it should be made illegal to kill honeybees. End of story. Period.
It's got the problem is they won't do it because obviously the honey industry is massive.
Yeah.
So I was talking to George about it, and he said there'd be probably a way around it, but they won't like ban it completely, because if you make them like protected, you'd have to do it a different way, because you'd have to ban the sale of honey. But then George came up with a different idea on like a way to do it. Like if you got to take so many steps, etc. The problem is, as well, I hate to use this term, but not everyone can afford a bee removal. Like it's places that will help people. That if you like, say someone can't afford a bee removal, is there places that will offer to do it, or something can be a couple of grand, can't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, when you, I mean, look, I'm going to include listed buildings, because look, if you've got the money to afford one of them, you can 9 times out of 10 afford a Range Rover and bee removal every day. But you know, hypothetically, if you're in a council house and you've got anaphylaxis to insects and whatnot, normal rule of thumb is, I know British Gas, backed by XA, insurance company, like honours £2,000. I did a job for Car Brothers mortgage last month. NFU paid that out for them.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay.
I think Sheila's Wills as well does vet. But again, you want to check that first. Don't take my word for it. So, but as say, in the cost of living crisis, mate, not many people could afford to go month in, month out, let alone a bee removal. So in them instances where they can't be removed, or as I said to you, there needs to be certain things put in place to help them people. You can't say you've got to live with them and that's it. That's your only option. You've got to work around it.
If endanger somebody's health, then that's different. Yeah. But if they're in the top of a chimney where they're not, then they should be left alone. But if they're in an air vent outside an entrance to a school or something, then that's a difficult game altogether.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Pest control is public safety. That's all it is anyway. Well, safety and standards.
Yeah, it is. It is. But what do you two think the future of the industry is going to be like in years to come?
Got to think. Very difficult, I think.
I mean, like, going back a little bit, like, obviously Basque and what they did a few years back with a general licence, so you could go around, shoot pigeons, do what you want, virtually. Yeah. Obviously now you've got to get a bit of ticket signed and this GL licence and that. I think the industries that, probably get in trouble for saying this, but I think the organisations that you pay to be a membership of necessarily don't have your back.
Boy network.
Yeah,
they're in each other's pockets, but when you know as well as well.
Like the glue boards and that, I feel that they sold us down the river a little bit.
Yeah, no.
Hold on. I will correct you, because I'm obviously on the board at MPTA. So all the information was given to the government, and the government decided to ignore it all. So they did actually try their hardest, but the government just ignored it, unfortunately. They just wanted to do what they wanted to do. And they were presented with all the information about what would happen in certain situations, and they did decide to ignore it. But the problem is trade bodies ain't government, they're not law enforcement, they can't do anything to them. They can only say, here's the data. But they've been back to them recently saying, both of them have, with misuse cases. I don't think much is happening. Even after improving, saying basically shops are now selling them as insect boards, but they are just rat boards, just change the name. But there wasn't. Yeah, but they did try. They did with the glue boards. I will say that, because it wasn't publicised enough about that bit. It wasn't.
But I mean, like, again, with Firecam, it's not necessarily BPCL or whatnot's fault, but again, trying to push a better alternative onto the market, I think could be done a little bit better. And like getting an apprenticeship scheme in, all these things that I think these trade bodies should be pushing a hell of a lot more for the industry. And I know something's happening about it and trying to do things like that already, but
the MPTA have got it. They did 5, where you've got to be a member of the MPTA. And they did 5, and that went that well that soon they're doing another one. So another 5 people will get trained up, where the MPTA pay half, and then Sargenta pay half. So that's another 5 people get their RSPH level 2 award. in pest management.
If you wanted to take on an apprentice in engineering, say, you get a percentage of it paid by the government. So why can't we do the same? Take on an apprentice, teach them, and they get paid by the government. It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we ain't got to that stage yet, but it's a good idea.
Between my job and an engineering job, none. What's the difference? They're both,
they've both got risks and all.
What's the difference?
They was talking about this on an American podcast, and the guy put it like this. Unfortunately, he said, because gas, electricians, etc., when you're doing a house, you have to have building regs and you have to have somebody to sign it off.
Yeah.
You don't have to sign off anything in pest control, do you?
Not really.
Unfortunately, and that's what he said they could demand the price. But it may get to that. It may get to that stage one day.
But to bring the young people into the industry, I think that'd be ideal. I really do.
Well, most people.
I
will suggest this idea. I'll do anything to help promote the industry, young people. But there's a big hurdle of like van insurance for under 30s.
Yeah.
I imagine you're down a second driver, aren't you, George? Rather than first.
I even got me bloody.
They won't even insure it.
Bloody driving yet. I haven't even done that.
You can't drive yet. Okay.
Even like what you're saying, some of the people you see on the forums and Facebook and that, some of the stock, obviously, pest a bit of a different thing. But some of the quotes that they're getting on insurance, some people don't even want to insure you. I know when we got the old Peugeot partner, when we changed that, some of the quotes we was getting because we got this amount of chemical, you can't have more than this kilo and this and that. It's ridiculous. But some of the quotes you were getting because you got some half dangerous chemicals as such driving around the motorway, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Well, yes, we can carry what we want.
But again, someone starting up, self-employed, one-man band, there's all these hurdles you've got to jump to try and even draw even and make profit.
It's not cheap. Let's be honest. It costs a lot of money to get going. By the time we bought your equipment and everything else, you're into a fair amount of wage.
You never stop buying, do you?
Well, no, it's always something you need or something you want.
There is.
There is. Yeah.
But I will put this forward about it. I'll mention it. I will about apprenticeships. If there's anything we can do,
I will. Let's be honest. Even a traineeship over 2 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Great. They're getting out to do a job. They're helping you, and you're helping them. What could be better?
But as you say, there's no difference to any other sector. And if government, as you say, does a spark, he does a plumber, does this, does that. You can't discriminate against us pesties. It's
Of course, you get a traineeship at McDonald's.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? I don't see why they discriminate against it. I really don't. Because we looked into it.
I'll get an apprenticeship tomorrow.
I'll get one tomorrow, yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
Without the shadow. And you can mould them however you want them. Which is even better.
Exactly. So are you in as Pestforce, are you in any kind of trade body?
Yeah, BPCA.
Okay. So do you have to do CPD like everyone else?
Yeah, I've got to get 20 a year, 20 points.
You keep logging my podcast, you'll be fine. That's allowed. I asked them.
We normally just do a couple of courses a year. And
you got to do your 3 crew points now, haven't you?
Yeah. A few years before. But again, with level 3 changing and all that, I think a lot of other people pack in after that, if I'm honest. Just can't be bothered for it.
A lot of that future frameworks to attract like graduates and younger people into the industry. So there's a framework. It won't stop anyone who's currently doing level 2 being a pest controller. It won't. So
don't you have to take different tickets by Rodenticide then, or that still covers you with your old level 2?
No, as long as you stay, you don't have to be level 2. You don't have to be RSPH level 2 award in pest management to buy rodenticides. You only have to have a basic rodent a basic rodent course every 5 years, or stay a member of a CPD body and get your points and crew points, and you're good every year. Because they're going to ask for next year when you buy bait. Because obviously, you're a year in front, don't you, with your points? Next year's points is for next year. And they're going to ask you for a certificate. And that will be your certificate to buy rodenticide next year. That's part of a CPD body. With your crew points are the ones that matter. They are, for buying it. And it's either stay with a CPD body, and that keeps you won't have to requalify. Or if you don't want to do the CPD, I think that's it. You have to redo your rodenticide course every 5 years. You do. You don't even need the RSPH level 2 in pest management award. I'm probably saying it wrong. You don't need just the basic you need to buy it.
I wonder if a few lads don't even bother using bait no more.
A lot of people don't.
Non-toxic first, if that there, hierarchy and all whatnot.
So I still can't find Tony Parker Reddit works just as well.
Yeah.
That's it.
If you can't trap, there's something seriously wrong. And like again, what we were saying earlier about not using loads of spray for wasp nests and that. If you can reduce your costs, and a trap is 4, 5, 10 time use, rodenticide 2 time use. If you're lucky, you might use it for burrow baiting for the 3rd time. Apart from that, it's no use. So obviously, trap.
Well, you've got to use a mixture of tools, haven't you? You are.
100%.
Well, the crew, you're supposed to do that anyway. You are supposed to see what your options are and try trapping and the process. You are, but yeah.
More friendly. And you ain't got to smell it in somebody's cavity. No. Try getting out one of them metal tongs.
Yeah, another funny little story. Had this old boy doing work on his house, and he's also floorboards and a rat chewed through this cable and it kept that cable going. He passed me these big old barbecue skewers. He said, "Go on, boy, go down there and pick them up." I said, "No, it's electric." Yeah, electric. So as I was getting closer, I could hear it arcing, go tick, 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 like his electric fence. I thought, and obviously, it went off, and I got a bit of a belt, but yeah.
I've got to tell you this story. Anyway, can you remember those Romanators years ago?
No idea.
They ever did a lot of rabbit control. Anyway, you used to get these, and there was 2 cylinders. I think it was oxygen or something else. No, it wasn't acetylene. It's oxygen or something. It's explosive. So what you did, you got like a hedge with loads of rabbit burrows down it. You poked this tube in it, filled it with gas, then step back and spark it, and of course it would blow the holes up. But anyway, of course, my mate was the farmer. I put a bit more in, boy, so we ended up at fucking canister in it. When he lit it, mate, the whole hedge must have fucking lifted up 4 foot off the ground. And we're talking like 50 metres of hedge. Sunk back in the ground. I've never seen nothing like it. I mean, they hear it in the village. I mean, I've never seen nothing like it. But anyway, that was quite amusing.
Yeah, that's pretty mental, that is.
Yeah, you're not allowed to use it anymore, I think.
No.
It's effective. But it's I don't know. I just think the wildlife now is some of it's getting out of control. I know it's a bit of a motive subject, but I think badgers should be put on a general licence because they're a pain in the arse. There's too many of them.
There is a lot of them.
Things they do pisses me off.
But like all the training courses you go on, there's a shortage of red card.
It's there.
But rodenticide kills all the barnet. It kills all this, it kills all that. With the greatest of respects, I don't know about, but in the Midlands there is no shortage of kites. There's no shortage of buzzards.
There's plenty around here. There's plenty around there as well.
The biodiversity, that's again pest controllers. We manage wildlife. Humans have made the biggest cock up. We're trying to control it how we think. You cannot let one species rise without controlling the others. It don't matter what any aspects of life. But obviously, badgers are protected. This is protected. That's protected. You look at the things which are suffering consequently from that, but you just let it rise and get worse and get worse. You won't do anything about it.
I mean, badgers will take every bloody nesting bird, every wasp nest, every nest they can find, they'll destroy.
Hedgehogs.
The amount of hedgehogs you find which have been skinned and peeled. Yeah.
Oh.
They just kill everyone,
Wow.
mate. You will not believe how destructive the bastards are.
Yeah, and you run them over and they still don't die.
No.
They fuck your car up and do a runner.
Yeah. But no, it's yeah. I don't see many badger sets, but I've had it before where I heard that someone I knew was near a badger set and he didn't believe there was a badger in there, and he got a stick and pointed it, put it down the hole. So he started pulling it and he started running. He didn't come out.
I mean, years ago, we used to dig them, not illegally. That's before all the laws changed. The granddad used to dig them, pick them up with tongs, put them in a bag, and then move them somewhere else, move them to a place where there was no badgers.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's so many places around us which are sandy fields, and 30, 40 acres you can't use because you go across it, your combine sinks. Your combine disappears, mate. Literally, you have a crane to get it out.
Goodness.
The damage they're causing on the roads is just unbelievable. Roads are collapsing, and
I didn't know that was due to them. I didn't know that. Oh.
They got more rights than us.
Yeah, unless they're on British rail ground.
Yeah, but I mean, if a badger comes in your house now, you've got to make a cup of tea, get it into bed, tuck it into bed. You've got to sleep on the sofa. Do you know what I mean? It's got more rights than you.
Which is silly.
I mean, again, they're lovely creatures, but I wouldn't want everyone killed. Don't get me wrong, but it's about control. I'd like to see lots of hedgehogs. I don't like to see lots of badgers. It's again, we need to control apex predators, and again, in the UK, there isn't that many apex predators for these certain things, like foxes. What kills a fox? Nothing. It's all these things. So that's why humans have got to sort of get involved.
Like the deers are getting out of hand, aren't they? Like government's even offering courses for people to learn deer stalking because of it. But the public need teaching about what's going on. They do.
Well, if they ate the meat, it wouldn't be a problem. But the meat is such a taboo within game, like pheasant, all this, like again, lead
poisoning.
It's bollocks. All the old pipes and villages are lead, but yeah, if you shoot a fucking pheasant with lead will bear, you kill all. No, but
you got happy birthday, yeah. Sean Taylor, happy birthday, George.
Yeah, getting political now.
Yeah. No, they are getting out of control, but they've got to be controlled properly. Not like what they're doing in Scotland when they're shooting them from helicopters and shooting them at night and basically fencing areas in so they run across the roads and get run over. It's just disgraceful. Really disgraceful. I will say now, brew dogs are the worst cunts for making it happen as well. Yeah. Any of sort of people who watch this, don't buy anything from Brewdog because they support it and it shouldn't be done.
Brewdog. Oh, the beer company.
Yeah. Oh, they brought a moor in Scotland and they got a government grant having hundreds of millions. Yeah. And they planted all these trees and basically all of them died. And then obviously it was a shooting estate and whatnot. But it's so hypocritical. You buy it for regeneration. You sell it on your advertisement and on your cans. Each drink that you buy, we planted a tree and all this shit. Yeah. You're just liars, absolute liars. But again, the shooting industry, they care about it. And every shooting estate you go to looks better once they left than before they were there. Mm. But again, it's...
Well, they're just slaughtering a deer and just leave them, not even picking them up. Which is disgraceful. In my opinion, they don't deserve that disrespect. That's my opinion. Every animal deserves, what's the word? Dignity, really.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah, you shouldn't treat them like that. You shouldn't do it. Not legally, anyway. But that's a political thing with me, I'm afraid.
So, it's been a good hour and a half.
Yeah, nice to speak to you.
Nice to speak to you, Rove. Who would you like to see on this podcast? Any ideas of anyone you'd like to see? Don't say Nathan Clark because he's booked to come on soon.
Minkman.
Yeah. Okay.
Matt Lodi would be a bad one.
I'm trying with him. I'm trying.
Even Natalie's quite nice.
Yeah, Natalie would be a good one.
I must admit, the more I spoke to her, the more, she's quite sharp and very much on the ball and very, very approachable.
She was at the BPCA. She was like...
Well, she was.
No, she was very much the... well, literally, you thought she was the BPCA because she was on everything. Like the talks, everything. So it's a bit strange for her not to be there now because you used to seeing her on all the BPCA posts, etc. You are, and now she's with Pestforce. So,
God, I must admit.
But us again, if we don't know the crack, ring her up, ask for a bit of advice and this and that. And it's second one. And again, single man band, you might have that by ringing your reps or whatnot, but you don't get that sort of the same. And again, it's helpful, but I think Natalie'd be a great person on the pod.
Yeah, I might see if I can get her on at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody's got different ideas, and if you can pick up one good idea of somebody, can't wish for more.
Exactly. This is a lot of these podcasts I do. People get ideas off them, and they learn stuff sometimes. Only if it's one bit, I'm happy. If someone's learnt one thing, that's it.
That's what it's all about. We've all got to help each other at the end of the day.
We're all in the same industry, so.
Yeah. This is the first time I've had someone that's kind of local to me on the podcast.
Yeah, you went too far. He's in. When we was doing that one in Stamford. He's
right, you said,
Oakham, Rutland.
Nice part of the world.
Yeah, some nice houses out that way. I drove through the Stamford and it had signed the Georgia Stamford.
Yeah,
there's some nice houses that way. Very nice.
When you buy one on the Kent High Street, then.
I don't know what's pretty allows me. A few more jobs yet.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming on, everyone. Don't feel sorry. It's been good.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. Do you want to tell people where they can find you? If they want you to find you?
Yeah, so we're on Pestforce Northampton. Google us, Facebook, do a bit on TikTok. But yeah, we're quite active on Facebook. You can see some of the work we do. And yeah, if you ever want any advice, just give us a call.
I will.
Always happy to help everybody.
But yeah, thanks, Mark and George.
No worries.
I'll end the stream, everyone. But see you all next week.
No worries.
For a minute.